HR as a career. The practice of HR has experienced noteworthy transformation over the last 3 decades. HR or human resources has transitioned from being a lower level administrative, personnel, and maintenance function to being a strategic business partner playing a critical role in the core business decisions. The HR function has been experiencing significant change in the organization with immense pressure to demonstrate added value and also a trend to outsourcing. Research indicates that careers in HR are rapidly changing and there are new trends in the field which have implications for educational institutions that are offering programs in HR. This has also led to an increasing demand for HR as a career that not only offers job satisfaction but also has a high growth potential. It has the ability to influence both individuals and the entire organization in meaningful ways. HR is responsible for building the team culture, setting the employee code of conduct, and the different processes in place. It offers an opportunity to assist people, to have task variety, telecommuting prospects, and flexible working hours. There are exciting roles, and one of the reasons why HR has become one of the most popular and sought after career options today is because of the fact that the function of human resource management entails talking about the employee journey or a life cycle of the employee in an organization from entry to exit. It involves human resource planning, acquisition, onboarding and induction, training, learning and development, performance management and appraisal, compensation, benefits, rewards management, industrial relations, and much more. Contemporary organizations are talking about employee engagement, employee empowerment, employee retention, and inclusion. The word talent is also being used a lot more frequently to acquire, manage, develop, and retain the potential employees who demonstrate superior performance in the organizations. While majority of business schools in our country have an offering of HR domain, but the country sees highest enrollments in marketing and finance. It is a general view that HR does not have too much scope. It is a general myth that HR is generally pursued by female candidates. However, it is a myth. Since long, the top management and owners of organizations have had a perception that HR is a cost-incurring function. But it is a perception that has changed over the past decade. HR professionals are now part of all board meetings. They contribute strategically to the organizations and participate in all decision making of the firm. In fact, titles and designations like CHRO, which is Chief Human Resource Officer, and CPO, that is Chief People Officer, have been created for the HR heads of large organizations, which are actually at par with the CMOs, the CTOs, and CFOs of the organizations. HR is an equally rewarding career for those who are meant for it. There are ample opportunities for growth and advancement, and students can create their own career path in HR. Today, a lot of seasoned HR professionals have started their own consulting companies, are enjoying a flexible pace of life, and are their own bosses. Now, what does it take to make a career in HR? Aspirants should pursue HR if it is a conscious decision and not an afterthought. Students who enjoy interacting with people should opt for HR. Anyone who feels they have the knack of dealing with people from all backgrounds, levels of experience, knowledge, skills, and attitude is the right fit for HR. In fact, to be a successful HR, one needs to have strong interpersonal skills and the patience to deal with people. Flexibility, adaptability, attention to detail, excellent communication and negotiation skills are some of the key requirements for joining the HR function. Also required are good listening skills and a positive approach. The HR should be able to build trust very quickly amongst the peers and colleagues. Creativity should be their second name because one will have to propose interesting and innovative ways to engage and retain the employees in the organization. If an individual has these skills, HR is the field for them. Now, one word of caution. One should not go for HR if it is the only option left. The most commonly received response from students in the past is that they want to get into HR because they are not interested in marketing or finance. Let us understand one thing very carefully. HR is serious business. Not everyone has the skills required to deliver as per company expectations and perform the HR functions effectively. In HR, like in any other field, the person-job role fitment is extremely critical. Else, one will be wasting their time and that of the organizations. HR as a career must be a conscious decision to take, not a stopgap arrangement, and certainly not because they have nothing else to do. If a quick survey is conducted today, it will be found out that the boys are taking up the HR, and today majority of the head HRs and CHROs are males. So that perception that HR is a girl's profession is just a perception which is not true. In fact, it is a myth. But the fact of the matter is that anyone who has the relevant skills can join HR. Now we come to the education in HR. Education in HR is offered at various levels and is of different types. Some of the options available are BBA with an HR specialization, MBA with an HR specialization, postgraduate diploma in management with a specialization in HR, PhD in the area of HR, or a certificate course in HR. Now, at the postgraduate level, HR does not require any prerequisites with respect to the academic background. Any bachelor's degree will suffice. It does not affect the admission eligibility in PGDM or MBA in HR. A common practice seen amongst the students is the large enrollments for BBA. Those aspiring for MBA opt for BBA at the undergraduate level. Given the fact that BBA is considered like a mini MBA, they find it easy to cope up with the academic rigor at the postgraduate level. To get through premier institutions, one needs to acknowledge that there is huge competition and limited seats. So, an early preparation for the national level exams like CAT, MAT, NMAT, CMAT, etc. help the students to get admission in the good B schools. Serious candidates start preparing for these exams ideally by the end of the first year or the beginning of the second year of their graduation itself, so that they can give the entrances well on time and not waste a year for the same, taking a year gap. Several students make the mistake of pursuing an online training in HRM after secondary school while pursuing another degree. After class 12, students should primarily focus on the syllabus and examination pattern, getting exposure, strengthening their personal profiles, and participating in institutional activities so as to strengthen their profiles. An online training in HR can help students only if they are pursuing a general BBA course. They can pursue this training certification to get additional knowledge in HR. They will definitely get a better understanding of what HR is all about. Recruiters may consider them for the fresher positions in HR, particularly in the area of recruitment. However, at the level of post-graduation, whether you are interested in doing an MBA or a PGDM from a reputed institution, it is very important that the choice of the institution is handled in a very, very conscious way, because that ensures students to get the required knowledge, skills, abilities, to get adequate exposure, to interact with industry experts, to network with distinguished alumni, to study under the best faculty. Also, work on their areas of improvement through dedicated mentors. All this leads to their holistic development, making them market ready. So, doing an MBA or a PGDM from a premier institution ensures the student to be employable, get good placement opportunities, and step into a promising career. Also, since MBA PGDM is the last foray into formal education for the students, they must make the most of it. Every B school gives students an opportunity to enhance their personality and develop themselves. During MBA or PGDM, they must not only pay attention to the academics to strengthen their conceptual knowledge, but also to volunteer and participate in every relevant activity and event possible. This will help them hone their team and interpersonal skills while improving their confidence. And most importantly, they must pursue online certifications in HR during their post-graduation so that they are updated with the prevalent trends. Popular websites where this can be accessed from Coursera, edX, Udemy, LinkedIn, Swayam, Oxford Home Study, MIT, Allison. There is no dearth of online portals offering learning certifications. These help in enhancing the employability, make the students ready for team-based work that they would be required to do once they join an organization on the completion of their post-graduation. Additionally, students can pursue internships, life projects, and even temporary jobs to get practical experience in HR. This will help them make a decision on what kind of career in HR they would like to go for. During the post-graduation, there are several HR electives which are offered. As we know that the MBA curriculum is divided in two parts. The first, studying the common course courses in the first year and the specialization subjects in the second year. Some of the typical subjects which one gets to study under the HR specialization include manpower planning and acquisition, training and development, industrial relations and labor laws, performance management and appraisal, compensation management, strategic human resource management, organizational change and development, competency mapping and career development, human resource information system, and cross-cultural management. However, today, over and above these traditional electives, there are some contemporary subjects also that are being offered given the fast-paced advancements in the business environment. The industry experts recommend to incorporate discussions around the new trends in the classroom. Chatbots, artificial intelligence in HR, mindfulness, employee well-being, and the impact of remote working on HR are some new subjects that are being proposed to be discussed and then subsequently offered to the students of HR. Some of the contemporary HR electives include HR analytics, learning and development, employee relations and compliances, total rewards management, digital HR, talent management strategy, coaching, counseling and mentoring, diversity and inclusion, managing virtual teams. Having studied about the various electives, now let us try to understand that on the completion of my program, what are some of the skills, the roles available, and what does a career path in HR look like? To be a successful HR, one needs to have strong interpersonal skills and the patience to deal with people as shared with you earlier. Flexibility, adaptability, attention to detail, excellent communication and negotiation skills are some of the key requirements for joining HR. Also required are good listening and positive thinking skills. Well, while we had spoken about all these a little earlier, a human resource officer needs to have good planning, organizational, analytical, and decision-making skills. Being tactful and discreet when dealing with people, it is extremely important. Because of the fact that confidential information reaches HR at the most instant stage, it is very important that this job is taken by individuals who demonstrate a level of maturity and understanding of how confidentiality needs to be maintained in this particular department. Now, there are different kind of roles for HR. Majorly, the job roles are of generalist roles, wherein you can pursue any kind of role, responsibility, and you are part of all the major functions an HR is supposed to perform. There is a common role which is the HR business partner. Also, we have recruiters, we have training and development coordinators, we have HR operation roles. These are primary roles offered at the entry level in most of the organizations. And as the freshers gain experience, they rise up in the organizations to take on the senior roles. So if I have to talk about an ideal career path in HR, you start at an executive level. After a couple of years, you move to becoming a senior executive in HR. Another couple of years more, and then you get promoted to becoming assistant manager HR. After that, it is manager HR, senior manager HR, vice president HR, and finally the CHRO or CPO, which is Chief People Officer. Now, this indicates that there is an upward movement towards the highest position possible in HR. And it also indicates that not only has HR paved its path to the C-suite, but also it is a feasible and achievable position for those serious towards HR as a career. Now, students can join HR as a generalist or a specialist. An HR generalist performs all the functions right from HR planning, recruitment and selection, onboarding, induction, goal setting, managing employee relations, training and development, appraising the performance, administrating benefits, compensation, and ensuring all processes are as per the regulatory framework. However, if we start as a specialist, one could take up their initial career with any of the individual function depending on the department structure and size of the organization. Also, there is no preference, that is, what is the best option, whether I should go for a generalist role or a specialist role. It is entirely your call. If you want to get experience in all the functions and departments of within HR, then obviously you should go for a position which allows you to perform as per the expectations of the organization. Now, as a specialist, one could start their career with any of the individual functions. Departmental structure becomes very important. So that means you could take up a career as an L&D specialist, you could become a recruiter, you could become a compensation and benefits specialist, you could become an industrial relations manager. There is no dearth of profiles, and while the profiles are there are those typical levels in the organization: junior, middle and senior level. At the fresher level, the jobs are primarily into recruitment and sourcing. However, there are other options also as HR generalist, wherein you are taking up specific positions like executive HR shared services, payroll executive, HR operations executive, verification executive, etc. Now, ideally, in the last few years, the starting average salary in any of these roles from a good business school is anywhere between 3 to 6 lakhs per annum. If we look at the work of HR professionals, we see that they are performing multiple tasks as generalists, wherein not only do they typically do the main functions of recruitment, selection, training and development, etc., but they do document and background verification, they prepare offer letters, they hold a kind of a session with the major stakeholders in the organization, they do the placement, induction, learning and development, performance appraisal. All that is being done. They also go beyond by doing employee engagement, employee grievance handling, well-being and wellness of employees. As our HR professional, the contribution will be managing one of the most important human resources or its employees. They would be connecting the value of the human capital to the bottom line of the individuals. They would be connecting the implementation with respect to recognition and retention, employer branding, employee motivation, so as to ensure not only is there low absenteeism, but also very low employee turnover and low acquisition costs. Now, what is the new normal in HR and the new verticals? Well, The HR has been the most affected department in the organization in the new normal. There is no denial that during the pandemic, it was the HR which had pulled together the entire organization. With most, in fact, almost all kind of organizations working remotely, the use of digital technological tools and technologies have had direct implications on the dynamics of the organization, and it has shaken all possible procedures. Monitoring the geographical and the varied dispersed employees, to manage social isolation, to manage issues related to employee health and mental well-being, sustaining the organization culture, creating flexibility in the virtual workplace, ensuring talent management, and offering an enviable employee experience are all the areas where HR has to focus in the new environment. According to a report by Mercer on the latest talent trends, the key focus areas of HR include defining future workforce needs, prioritizing reskilling and upskilling, rejuvenating flexibility and fluid careers. In a study published by Harvard Business Review in 2020, it was indicated that there were going to be new verticals as predicted by the researchers and the experts. These new age careers will bring in a demand for new skills, new preparedness, and an understanding of the changing roles of the HR in the future. As far as the future HR jobs are concerned, you will be surprised as the predictions have come in. The Cognizant Center for the Future of Work and Future Workplace has talked about designations like chatbot and human facilitator, HR data detective, genetic diversity officer, VR immersion counselor, human bias officer, algorithm bias auditor, workplace environment architect, future of work leader, climate change response leader, gig economy manager, head of business behavior, human machine teaming manager. If you will see that these are requiring a specialist cadre of HR professionals who are going to have a huge demand in the future. And for this reason, one should go for HR in a very conscious decision and not as an afterthought. This is the only prerequisite required to make a successful career in the area of human resources. That is all from my side. I hope you find this piece very useful and helps you to make a very informed decision regarding your career. Thank you very much. This is Professor Sona Vikas, Head of School of Management and Liberal Studies, the North Cap University, signing off. Thank you very much.